and welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on MTV that will have you seeing in threes. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge Season 40 Battle of the Eras Episode 10. We have started the individual portion of this season, and can I just say, we couldn't have started off on a better foot. This episode had everything. Lines were drawn, strategy talk, alliances are forming. I mean, if this is just the beginning, this season is without a doubt going to be one of the best we've seen in years. And possibly, and I might be jumping to conclusions, a top 10 season, maybe top 15. I'm so excited after this episode, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself, and I may be just too hyped, as Darrell would say. But we'll get into all of the talk and why I feel this way as we go through this review and recap. Now, let's start off where last episode left off, and that was Kylan and Tori winning in the elimination against Casey and Devin. And despite TJ saying that this game will change, they still had to pick targets. Kylan chose Rachel, Aviv, and Jenny, while Tori went for the Era 2 special of Bananas, Derek, and Ryan. Now coming back to the challenge house, we have Tori and Michelle lamenting that Devin is gone, while Bananas is frustrated that he is a target chosen by Tori, somebody that he is friends with inside and outside of the game. They have worked with each other on previous seasons, and now he feels like Tori is playing Devin's game, even though Devin isn't here anymore because of problems that they had. But Devin, at the end of last week's episode, said that he was gonna haunt this game. And he kinda does. Whether it was the cast photo cutout that they put in multiple moments and multiple confessionals, or people making moves in this week's episode saying that it was out of respect for Devin and Devin would want them to do this. Speaking of Bananas, the next day, Jordan is talking with Michelle and Olivia, asking them, how does Bananas benefit their game moving forward? Now, we know that there was some dust up between Devin, Michelle, and Bananas, and now that Devin is completely gone, Michelle isn't the biggest Banana fan, and Olivia, being best friends with Michelle, probably feels the same way. And now we have Jordan here, who has been relatively quiet and playing under the radar, but now that it's an individual game, Jordan wants to make some moves, and now he's stirring it up a little bit, saying the longer he stays in the house, the more powerful he becomes. And Jordan's not wrong. It's just very interesting because in season 38, it seemed like him and Bananas had this understanding with each other and wanted to work with each other. But this is season 40. He comes to play, and I'm so happy that we actually see Jordan being put up in the forefront because I kind of forgot he was on this season at certain points of this game. Now, Bananas may have a ton of critics in the house and people that would want to target him and send him into elimination, but we do hear of Bananas' new alliance group known as Bananas Angels. It's Johnny, Jenny, Laurel, Aviv, and Rachel. Now that is a fierce fivesome. Now we do hear from Aviv later on in the episode that Bananas Angels has been a collective group for some time now. Since day one, they've been rocking with each other, learning about each other, connecting and bonding, and it's just now that it becomes apparent because it's an individual game. And can I just say that these five are going to be some of the toughest competitors in this game, and if they are working with each other, the house better look out. But we're now going to put a pin in Bananas Angels for now as everybody dons their challenge gear, head down to meet up with TJ for this week's daily challenge. But before we can get to any of the instructions, TJ gives us a bit more insight into the format moving forward in this game. As mentioned in last week's episode, this is no longer a team game, but an individual game where one man and one woman will be crowned challenge champions and take home their portion of $1 million. What's also changing is that instead of two people going home each week, one man and one woman, now it's changing to one person goes home each week, either a man or a woman. And to determine the order, TJ flips a coin and it lands on it being a men's elimination day for this week. And now it's going to alternate week after week. So Aviv, Rachel, and Jenny are off the hook, but Ryan, Derek, and Bananas are still on the line. What's also different moving forward is that anybody outside of the targets could be sent into the elimination via if they get last place in the daily challenge. Now, to me, that's exciting. So if anybody outside of the targets would have gotten last place, they would have been sent in, and then the one man and one woman to win the daily challenge would then have to choose amongst the targets of who to send in against last place. Now, even though the women do not have an opportunity to be sent into the elimination this episode, whoever gets last place for the women will get a penalty. And that will work moving down the line, where on a women's day, if a man gets last place, they will get a penalty for the following daily challenge. Honestly, this new format has me excited. I think that this format and style can really open up the doors for all kinds of opportunities and can create the most drama moving forward. But with all that context out of the way, we now get to this week's daily challenge called Fire Away. Now, in the mid-season trailer breakdown, I did call this a catapult, but it is a trebuchet where TJ will use it to send tennis balls into the field, and the players are going to have to retrieve them 2 at a time. They have to collect 30 tennis balls to then be able to work on their 40 puzzle. The fastest man and woman to get this totally complete will win into power and win into safety. This is the toughest daily challenge that they have had to do thus far. I mean, the heat was getting to them, the constant running back and forth, going through the ditch, just trying to stay focused mentally through this entire challenge to make sure you're putting your tennis balls in your exact tube and in your station, because there was a couple of people that put their balls in the wrong tubes. You had Ryan putting his stuff in Laurel's tube, Bananas in Jordan's, and then even Derek in Nehemiah's. I think that this was the perfect daily challenge to kick off the individual portion. We got to see the players in this environment, in this heat, with their stamina, their endurance, who is going to be able to stay focused and then do a puzzle on top of that. Like, this is the building blocks of the final, and I thought that this was a perfect way to see who can stack up in a possible final format. And we saw some players rise to the occasion, like Jordan, like Kylan, like Tori and Cara, while other players started to fall way behind, like Michelle, Olivia, and Theo, and Ryan. I mean, say what you will about Johnny Bananas putting his tennis balls in Jordan's for 1 or 2 rounds, but at the end of the day, it helps Jordan. Jordan is able to complete the puzzle, gets first place. Kylan is incredible getting second place out of this. On the women's side, Tori really impressed me. I mean, there are some people who are sweating profusely, they're walking, while Tori is here, doesn't even look like she breaks a sweat at one point. She collects all of her tennis balls, she gets to her puzzle, and she definitively wins this for the women's side. So we have the ex-couple of Jordan and Tori having to work together, determine who to send in on the target side. Whereas now everybody is just working to not be last place. How this all comes down to it, Kylan and Cara get second place, Josh and Jenny get third place, Bananas and Laurel get fourth place, Nehemiah and Rachel get fifth place, Corey and Aviv get sixth place, Theo and Olivia get seventh place. It comes down between Derek and Ryan and Naya and Michelle. Now, Michelle was going so fast. She looked like she was collecting all of her tennis balls really quickly, and we all know she is a whiz at the puzzle, so I thought that she had a really good chance getting into the top 5 for the women's side, but she started to slow down really quickly, and when it came down to it, Naya was able to put her puzzle together, meaning Michelle came in last place on a puzzle, mind you, so she's getting a penalty going into next week's daily challenge, which is going to be on a women's day. And on top of that, she was suffering from heat stroke. She had to get medical attention right away. She was breaking down. She felt embarrassed. And then she was second guessing herself in the ambulance, wondering, do I have what it takes? Devin was just eliminated. That was somebody who she viewed as her rock, as her safe place in the game. Then she does poorly in a daily challenge on a puzzle, but Olivia's there to help pick up the pieces. And we learn about the Ladies of Leisure, or LOL, the trio alliance of Michelle, Naya, and Olivia, 3 women who will come to compete, but would rather enjoy the finer things in life and just relax. One of the funnier alliances and most self-aware alliance that we've ever had on the challenge, I believe. But Michelle's able to cool off, hear what Olivia is saying, get a hug from her, and she's going to stick it out through this game. Now, on the men's side, it's kind of weird because in the edit, it looks like Ryan collects all of his tennis balls and even finishes putting his puzzle together before Nehemiah, who comes in 5th place, finishes his puzzle. But the problem is that Ryan puts his puzzle upside down. He doesn't see that there is a design on this puzzle at all. He puts the puzzle together, albeit more impressively, when it is completely all black. So he puts the puzzle together and TJ says, no. If I'm the challenge production team, I'm like, that's hell of impressive, but I'm sure that there are rules in place that stop this from happening and that you have to put it together right side up and facing the correct ways and everything. So at the end of the day, Ryan comes in last place because he just didn't see the 40 on the other side of the puzzle to where he put it together correctly. We're gonna waste no time heading down to the chamber where we have Tori and Jordan head of the table and listening to Bananas and Derek make their pleas on why they should not be sent in against Ryan. This is worst case scenario for Ryan and Derek, and they don't want to go up against each other. Whereas Bananas is coming in with the mentality of do it. Bananas feels very confident in going up against Ryan in any type of elimination. And Bananas knows that pretty much that there is a very strong possibility that Tori's gonna want to send him in anyways. I mean, she was the one that made him a target. So instead of trying to plead and, oh no, don't put me in, Bananas is like, do it. Send me in, and you roll the dice that I'm probably gonna come back and I'm going to exact my revenge by making you a target. Both Tori and Bananas get how they feel off their chest and where their heads are at. Once the targets all leave the chamber, Jordan turns to Tori and says, the longer Bananas stays in the house, the stronger he gets. And it's like, where have I heard that before? Jordan in the chamber is pushing heavy for Bananas. We've seen some funky, crazy stuff happen in the elimination, so why not make a move? You know, there's no reason in playing it safe here now. You've kind of already drawn the line in the sand, making him a target. Why not just finish the job and make the move? And Jordan in the chamber confessional is like, I'll just play it off like this was all Tori's decision. But you know with Bananas, he's not going to be like, well, what's Jordan supposed to do? Yeah, he wouldn't say that. I mean, he even says it to his face that this is on you. You helped make this decision and you're going to have to choose a side, which I just love this. I love this. I love this so much. I'm getting so excited just like talking about it and being excited about it. But we move on to the bar where we see a bit more strategy. We do see Bananas Angel having a drink with one another, but we do see Rachel and Tori also having a conversation. Rachel is in one of the best positions to be able to move freely through this game, it feels like. Yes, she's with Bananas Angels and it is very connected there. She's also working with Cara, and now she's over here talking with Tori and wanting to work with Jordan. This is something that I do want to bring up because Jordan mentions that what can Bananas do? He can only send in the women or make women the targets. So what's he gonna do to me? We're in this conversation with Tori and Rachel. Tori does bring up that, look, I will never be able to target Rachel. She's gonna never be able to target me. So it's better to work together instead of working against each other. Where both those confessionals happen, it kind of sent red alarms to me being like, I wonder if they kept those confessionals in there because at some point down the line, I wonder if they'll swap it up where the men will be able to target the men and the women will be able to target the women. I wonder, because now it's an individual game, and if everybody's going to be individual and one man and one woman independently of each other, then why couldn't there be a point in this game where the men can target the men and the women can target the women? I'm just throwing that out there. It kind of was said more than once, so it kind of just like sent alarms in my mind being like, maybe that'll happen one other time. Before moving away from the bar scene, we do see Tori and Derek talking with each other, and Tori talked about how it really stunk last week that she had to face off against a really good friend in Casey, and that she would feel very hypocritical if she were to send in Derek against Ryan. So she makes a deal with Derek that if at all there is a chance that he wouldn't make her the target or say her name on a different day, that he would keep her safe. And Derek says, yeah. We move back to the challenge house where we see some interesting conversations take place. We have Jordan shaking hands with Rachel, where Jordan says that you have 3 people on the line tonight, where one person is definitely gonna go home. And I want you to not look at as you losing a player, but me swapping in for that player. And they shake hands, and I got goosebumps. We move over to Tori talking with Era 3 and Era 4 players, mainly the men, and she's like, hey, do you have my back if I'm willing to send in bananas? Will you have my back on that decision? And everybody says, yes, throw in the 7-time champ, and maybe, just maybe, he can be sent in and sent home. Eventually, we get to Tori and Jordan going to talk to Bananas, saying, you're gonna go in. And Bananas is understandably frustrated, calling out Tori, saying that you make this decision, well, guess what? You've woken the dragon, and you better buckle up. And then he turns his attention over to Jordan and says, this is on you too. And because you're making this decision, you have to be able to make other decisions and take other sides in the house. Sooner or later, you're gonna have to pick a side. And this is what we all wanted. Devin and Casey go, that rattles up all the alliances. We get to an individual game, which then shuffles everything up. And now you have 3 strong players in the game of Tori, Bananas, and Jordan. 3 champions, been on recent seasons working with each other. And now they can't stand each other. And then now it seems like they're on opposite ends of the house. And this is what we want. This is exciting. We want a house divided. We want multiple alliances. We want a power struggle. And I feel like we're getting that. It almost reminds me, and I don't want to talk out of turn here, but it almost reminds me of Fresh Meat 2 season 19, where you have Wes's side of the house and you have Kenny's side of the house, and you had this like warring powers against each other. And it's something that I feel like we've desperately wanted to see in the challenge for so long, and now we're getting it. It's glorious, and I want it to stay at this level moving forward. And it just seems like from the previews to next week's episode, it's going to stay this way, and it's going to be so thrilling, and it's going to be so exciting. I am so excited. But now let's get to this week's elimination, which I think is pretty straightforward. We have Ryan versus Johnny Bananas in killer quads. The players are going to get on these mini quad bikes, and they're going to have to go around in circle trying to catch each other and chase each other to rip the ribbon off the back of their quad bike. Best 2 out of 3 wins. In round 1, Johnny Bananas steamrolls Ryan. He absolutely crushes this thing. He has a great strategy. Ryan does knock into the hay barrel, which completely stops his momentum, and Bananas is able to rip the ribbon, taking a 1-0 lead. Now, round 2 is a different story. Ryan gets on his quad bike and he's going at a great pace. He's almost about to catch Bananas, and then he spins out a bit, stops his momentum. Bananas is able to get away, and then the round goes for what seems like a very, very long time, to the point where it looks like Ryan's bike either runs out of gas, sputters out, or runs out of electricity, something to that effect, because it looks like it just stops on the turn, and he's trying to make it move, and then all of a sudden, maybe it gets stopped in the sand, I don't know, but he's trying to make it move, and Bananas is able to just like pull up to the back of his bike and rip off the ribbon, winning 2 rounds to nothing. It's unfortunate to see Ryan go this early, but with all the craziness and the drama, I just didn't want to see Bananas leave just yet, because this is only going to get spicier and spicier the longer we have this Bananas versus Tori storyline, and then everybody gets caught up in between and everything. Like, it is wild. It's going to be a wild time. Now, Ryan is eliminated. He's going to leave the game. We do not see where he puts his karma points or where it goes, but Bananas, he's so ready. Tori's name is on the tip of his tongue, and he's about to say it when TJ says you can pick any women to be the 3 targets except for Tori, who won the previous daily challenge. Now, I know this is confusing to everybody because it was not established last week when Rachel, who had won the daily challenge bottoms out, was able to be chosen to be a target even though she won the daily challenge the week prior by Kyland. Now, I will say that I think that there could be a possibility that they were viewing it as like a soft reset, going from a team game to an individual game, to where they were allowed to choose Rachel even though she won the week prior, and that this week being the first real full individual portion in the individual game fully officially starting, that they then locked in the rules that winners cannot be targets for the very next elimination day. I don't know, it's a little funky. I wish they would have just established it last week, but in the same cadence, they didn't know if it was going to be a men's day or women's day because of the coin flip. I don't know, it's a little weird, but it makes sense in the grand scheme of things, like Cara said, that the winners would not be able to be chosen as targets for the very next episode. He feels it's a little unfair, but because he can't choose Tori, who was Devon's Dave and Devon's best friend, he decides to move on to 3 other players that were working closely with Devon, like Nehemiah, who wasn't necessarily working with Devon, but is working with Kyland, and Johnny and Kyland are not very close with one another, so why not call out Nehemiah? He called out Olivia, who he deems Devon's pet snake, and then he also calls out Michelle, who he deems Devon's upcoming ex-girlfriend, which, yikes, that is such a big burn to Michelle. Like, this was not Michelle's episode. This was not Michelle's week, from what happened in the daily challenge to losing Devon and now getting called out by Bananas, more specifically being called out by being Devon's next ex-girlfriend, is such a wild situation. My goodness. But again, this just stirs up so much. He calls out all the ladies of leisure. He has 3 new targets that he put on somebody else. He's also working against Tori and what seems to be like Jordan as well. And possibly will Theo get involved? Possibly will Kylan get involved, because Olivia and Naya were called out, and that's putting their numbers and their people and their happiness in peril? I don't know, but what I can say is that I'm excited for next week. The preview looks exciting. There's arguments galore. There's people being called out. There's games being called out, lines being drawn. This is incredible. I'm telling you, this is incredible. This is what we've been looking for and waiting for seasons. And that's why I started off this review and recap saying that this could possibly be a top 15, top 12 season by the end of it, if this tension and this energy stays. Like last week's episode with Rachel winning and wanting to dismantle the Vacation Alliance, to this being the first episode of individual gameplay, and it is at another level. This wasn't, oh, let's go after the smaller players that may not have as many friends or connections in the game. This is Tori, champion, versus Bananas, champion. Jordan is involved, champion. I could gush about this episode and talk about it for hours, but I know that this YouTube video needs to be trimmed down. I cannot wait to talk about it on patreon.com/angelcakevids for this Saturday's Tiny Table Talk live stream, because I am going to go in on all of the gameplay, the possibilities, the excitement. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. But what do you think about this episode? Let me know down in the comment section below. What'd you think about this episode? What'd you think about all the strategy, all the game talk, all the alliances, the lines being drawn? What'd you think about the daily challenge, the elimination? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below, because like I said, I'm excited about this episode. I'm excited about the future of this season, but I want to hear from everybody else, like your excitement levels. Or are you a little bit nervous and maybe weary of some of the format that I'm kind of overlooking because of all the drama that is being stirred up right now? I don't know, but I want to hear everybody's thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Who are you rooting for? Who are you rooting against? Which side of the house are you on? Are you on the Bananas Angels side? Or are you with the Tori and Jordan and Ladies of Leisure side? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. I now want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really, really soon with more Challenge 40 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.